話を見直してください。ポトーカスタディ。
Hello, everybody. Welcome to a new episode of Weeb Shit Monday, the series on the podcast where I like to take mangas, animes, anything happening in comic book land, any sort of media that I think deserves my 2 cents. I do it here on Weeb Shit Monday. Now, this week, I want to talk about isekai, a porn star in another world. Now, I know that sounds dumb. Mind you, it's an isekai. It's an isekai. I don't know how to pronounce that word, so just kind of bear with me here on this one. It's an isekai. Now, I know when I say isekai, a lot of you are like, man, I don't know how I feel about those. Being dropped off in another world, getting powers, being so OP that I can't read this. I've tried reading this, and it loses me because the main character always comes out overpowered, no matter what. And I agree. Most isekais are like that. You know, you read them, you get so far in, you're like, I can't do this. I know he's going to win. I know he's not going to get his ass beat. You know, he may get his ass beat the first couple minutes, like the first couple rounds of the fight. You're gonna be like, okay, yeah. Let's see him get whooped. Learn something. Take something from this. But in the end, he meets a new trainer. He meets somebody that knows the way of the world or knows this enemy, teaches him a new power. He goes back into the fight. Wham, bam, thank you, ma'am. Gives him the 1-2 combo with sides, drink, and a toy. And then we're on to the same thing in the next arc, and it just continues on and on and on. I say that, but I got introduced to a new manga called A Porn Star in Another World. Now, before you click off, listen. This isekai is different, I promise you. So the plot is a guy that was in the porn industry decides he wants to do better. You know, he was basically the fluffer. You know, he was stunt dick. That's what he was. He was stunt dick in any porn movie he did. He would watch. He studied all of the actors and actresses and he was just this. When the main guy ran out of steam, you know, doing what they do, stunt dick, get in there. Handle it. She needs that little last finish. You're going to be that guy. You ain't going to do the whole scene, but you're going to get enough of the scene. He's like, all right, fuck it. I'm doing this for, I think it said 5 years. 5 years he was in the industry. So he leaves and he's like, man, I wish I could be a better porn star. I wish I could do better. Wish I could be like the big guys that are, you know, have their names in lights. And when people talk about porn stars, I want my name to be up in those lights. But unfortunately, I will never, boom, bus out of nowhere, smokes him, kills him. Obviously, a classic isekai trope. Classic main character is in another world. He's thinking of something, you know, completely outlandish, and he just fucking dies. He gets hit. So, in classic form, he goes to a new world, wakes up, and he doesn't know where he's at. He wakes up in a porn set of a different world where a gigantic goblin with, I'd say, a rock hard hang down. I mean, the size of my forearm and the girth of an elephant's leg, just ready to go to town on this little elf girl. You know, just full on ready to go. And she, of course, is freaked out because she's like, I'm gonna fucking die because of this dude. I'm gonna get ripped in half by a giant ogre and it's gonna be sold everywhere. And I don't like this. Well, he comes in and says, hey, I could do this. I could be that guy. And he's like, okay, well, our guy is gone. You know, he's knocked out because you fell on him. You fell on him, you knocked him out. So obviously go in there and do what you need to do. And we get a whole 5-chapter spread of this guy just doing normal sex scene stuff. Like normal just throwing dong. You know, normal stuff. The entire time they're playing it out like this big action scene, this big fight scene, like you see in normal isekais when they're going against the first villain they ever faced. Like these big climactic scenes, and the camera guy's going, these are wonderful shots. How did he know how to do this? Oh my God, he's going to be the next big thing. And that's all this story is. anytime they do a shoot, they're these big fight scenes. And what I love the most about this is in normal mangas, when they're explaining the world around them, actually anything, any animes, any mangas, they explain the world around them in case you didn't know. So a couple things that they have decided to inform you of what they are is you. God damn it! I can't say this without laughing because it's only 5 chapters. It had just started last year and it is continuing on. So it's still a very new thing. So I've only gotten 5 chapters, but the 5 chapters are so goofy. They have dealt with just normal sex, having normal sex, using lubrication, tentacle porn. That one was my favorite, simply because the whole premise of that was there's this Batgirl who said, "Oh yeah, I'll be in a scene with you, but if you want me to be in a scene, you have to catch me." And they're like, "She's fucking flying. How are we gonna catch her if she's flying?" Then while they're in the dungeon, there's a slime guy just minding his own business like a tentacle monster, just kind of vibing there in the dungeon. They look at him like, "Hey, you tentacle boy, come here, help us out here." Okay, so like grab her. He uses all of his tentacles and grabs her and just pulls her apart. And then the main character thinks, he's like, "I've seen this before. In some of the porns that I have watched, they do tentacle porn where she is forced with tentacles or used them, but they're just being used by prop designers. So it's not real tentacles, but I got the upper hand. I can use real tentacles." And of course, we get a whole, just like the first one, a whole 5-scene major action spread of a girl getting railed by tentacles. It is goofy. I promise you, it is not some manga that you will think of 20 years down the road because it had such a life-changing story. It's definitely one that I would recommend. But it's so funny to me that they took such a weird concept. Like, obviously, I went into another world and I have a vibrator as a weapon. Some of these isekai titles are so fucking long. I went to another world. I got reincarnated as a slime. I got reincarnated as a dildo. I got reincarnated as a big tittied goth GF. You would think I'm making these up, but I bet if you look up all 3 of those, there would be either a manga or a light novel called that. So it's nice to see that actual artists are like, you know what? If we're going to get goofy, we're going to go all out fucking goofy, okay? Just saying, Pornstar in Another World. That's it. That's the title. And another thing that I loved is in the real world, this guy was considered like the B actress. Like I said, the stunt dick. That's all he was considered. The skinny guy who just went in and just laid pipe when the main actor was like, "I don't want to do this. I'm done with it. I'm done." He just laid pipe. But being in a different world where people don't like porn is not exactly a big thing in this new world. So this guy going in and being like, "Oh yeah, fuck, I know all these tricks. I know how to do it right. I know how to make a good adult film for everybody." And he is considered one of the top actors in the industry right now. It's nice seeing that the pacing is good. The pacing is not too slow. It doesn't make you seem like, okay, let's get on with the story. It's only 5 chapters, but it gets to where it needs to be. It's not uncensored, so don't expect to see a lot of like full frontal nudity and stuff like that, but it does have obviously big titted anime girls, which why else would you read something called Pornstar in Another World? But go find it, go support the official release. I give it 4 out of 5 misshapen fake wieners. Let's put it that way. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining me for another episode of Weeb Shit Monday. If you want to follow me and see my slow descent into madness, go follow me on twitter.com/enoughsnuff. If you want to see me on Instagram, instagram.com/podcastdaddy, tiktok.com/podcastdaddy1. And of course, if you want to see the video version of this, go to youtube.com/podcastdaddy. Now, everybody, have a great weekend. Have a great day. Have a great night. And as always, please keep your balls clean.